Okay, today we're going to talk about where I grew up in a town southeast Wyoming called Torrington. Torrington was named after a city in Connecticut. Uh, it was founded in the county of Goshen in Wyoming. It's 83 miles from the capital of Cheyenne, north, and it's about 8 miles off the Wyoming-Nebraska border. The claim of fame of Torrington would probably be the fact that there is a huge sugar beet plant in the area. It's 20 miles east of Fort Laramie. I grew up going to Fort Laramie. I enjoyed going to Fort Laramie. We'd always find some little trinket or something that was found in the past. 10 miles west of Fort Laramie is a place called Guernsey, Wyoming. It's got a reservoir, but it also has a Register Cliff, which used to go to all the time, and it has a set of wagon ruts that is considered a state park. If you go east of Torrington, 32 miles, there's a bluff that sits on the Oregon Trail called Scotts Bluff. It's a city. There, the pioneers used to see it as they would cross the area before they got to Rubidoux Pass. 20 miles from it is Bayard, Nebraska, and that's the home of Chimney Rock. And about 10 miles east of Bayard is Courthouse and Jailhouse Rock, which is the town's probably closer to Bayard or to Bridgeport than it is Bayard. Used to be the site of what they called Camp Clark. It was where the settlers would and the pioneers would camp alongside the North Platte River before they crossed it to continue on their journey. This is all the history I grew up with, and I was lucky enough to have old timers that I got to know. My aunt's great uncle was a guide and scout for the cavalry in the 1800s, and he was still alive when I was a child, and he would tell us stories. This would be all the reasons why history was king to me. I really love learning about the past. There is a story he told me about. They were out chasing red cloud and in eastern Wyoming, and they come across a woman who was a settler that got lost her family, her husband and her children in an Indian raid, and she was running across the prairie out there on the eastern edge of Wyoming with nothing on but a smile, and they stopped her and tried to render aid to her, and she actually ran off from them. She just couldn't handle the loss of her family. So the creek they happened to find her by, it actually received the name of Crazy Woman Creek, which it's still there. It's still named that. I mean, it's not changed. Northeast of Guernsey, there is a old iron ore mine that's called the Sunrise Mine, and it was a pretty big iron ore producer of its day, and there are still some of the old mine offices and buildings still there. Matter of fact, you can even buy some. They were up for auction a couple of years ago, and I think somebody put some up for rent on a real estate thing. Really interesting area, beautiful area, but it's nice to spike people's interest in history. You know, you get to see these, and you get to see the areas of what people would lived and that. So thank you for listening, and that's all.